Nice. So quick recap from last week. Last week we do systems thinking. And for just go over them again, I'll open up this sketchpad and let's draw a few things, right? So somebody give me an application we don't use before. It can be mobile, it can be website, Facebook. Why Facebook? You don't have to answer, just okay. So let's take Facebook, eh? Anybody get that one? YouTube. Okay, let's use these two. So every platform you go on is divided into typically 3 parts. Should I proceed? Every website you go on is divided into 3 parts. Then 3 parts in there are front end, back end, and API. Now let's break this down. So I'm going to attempt for draw the Facebook interface. Sorry, let's use a pen. Let's use a pen instead. Cool. So let's say now you phone this, eh? Don't mind my drawing. I phone this, right? And inside phone, you Facebook app this. You get your friends, the way they talk to, you get your messages, the way they reply. In engineering, this part of your application where you see, and where you play around with, now in at the front end. This part of the application where you see and you they interact with. Now in now your front end. And it basically gets what they call UI. UI is short for user interface. Now what you they see and waiting you they interact with. So for practicalize this even more, let's take one of the major apps where we they use now Christex, right? Discord. This is the Discord app. You see all this way you see so. Then name there bulletin boards, quads, community, Sinai, Mocha. All of them here where you they see, this is what typically your front end. The user interface, which they interact with. The button there where they process, tap community. We go into ask questions. This interface where they see, this button where they able click, type any message you want type. Hello, I'm new here. This interaction where they do, where they able to see, this is what we call the front end. But for all this to be possible, there is something that is happening with the power all of this. And what is that something? If somebody could just take random guess. If we divide this into 3 parts and then we don't know, say, which they see and they interact with, and I front end, then which will be the second one? Back end. Anybody want to take a shot at guessing or defining what a back end is or typically is? Yes, please.
Think so they are if you search you so for like
Okay.
we go this appear so the process so they are compared like that back end.
Okay. Anybody else want to try? Yes, sir. Okay. Any other takers? Any other tries? Clement, say back in okay. Yes, sir. So just for repeat, Clement, say backend is the process or what happens in the background when you tap on a particular button. Okay. Yes. Mm-hmm. Okay. So all of you guys are accurate and correct. Any question? Yes, sir. Okay. Yeah, yeah. It has to be different from which they don't show. All right, cool. Proceed.
Usually, let me say, the process the data that you are asking for, like if you are searching for something in YouTube, so the backend help us to process the data like the question. Thanks for the understanding.
Nice. That's actually the word I was hoping someone would say. Data. So backends of your application typically responsible for manage and process data we user they get from the front end. So for example, you know how our demo the Discord just now. All that data we will see, then names the way they able to see, um, then text the way the messages the way they able to see. They all need for commerce on site, true or false. For make I able to see, then they all need for be stored on site, true or false. For where I tap that button and then a new interface and a new page open. That page the way are open to need for be stored some side. Eh? That is who side backends come in. They are typically used for manage, store, and process data where your application they use. We understand? Eh? We sure everybody any question? So if somebody asks you, say, if somebody talk about front end, what would come to your mind now? What you see and interact with. And then if somebody they talk and then he mentions the back end or the work, what would you think he's talking about? I'll choose Max Clothing. Yes, when somebody say back end. That the source of the data. And with backends, I want for point touch 2 points. Um, the one being servers, and the other one, I don't remember if we talked on this last week. The one being servers and databases, right? So what is a server? Server basically now an application or something, an application where they receive a request, process them, and then serve a response. That's basically where you say server they down, server this. What these servers basically they do is like, let's say you go on your Facebook, you search for somebody. At that point, what are you doing? You are sending a request to the server. Say, look, I look for somebody we name Mohammed Sharif. When the server receive them, it check the database. Say, look, the database will get any Mohammed Sharif now. And then from this point, it process them, filter, and say, okay, we'll get 60 Mohammed Sharif there. And then it send them back to you. It process them and then it send them back to you as a response. Say, all right, we don't find 60 Mohammed Sharif. That is why when you go on Facebook and search for a particular name, there are times where you tend to see over 50 results, over 60 results. Because what the server is basically doing is it don't receive your request, where they request for a particular record, we get this name. And they go through the database, outside all the information store, look for everybody who fits this criteria where they ask for, and then serve you that response name. So even in backends, it almost also divided back into different components. The two primary ones being like servers and databases. we all get like a generic, this is like for you forget a generic understanding of front end and back end. We all understand now? Hmm? You sure? Any questions? So I can randomly choose anybody for explainer. Huh? Anybody can explain now? Is that what you guys are saying? All right, cool. I'm not choosing. I just ask no more. Because someone will begin to on your face now. Cool. So the final one is APIs. So a front end, now what you see. Back end, now they what you see, they come off from. The what API go be. API go be the link between them two. Everybody agree? Anybody they will think this man wrong totally? I lie they lie. Anybody think say this man not sabi wetin they talk? If that's what if that's how you feel, talk I will not afraid. Now me they tell. I'm here. You're not going to do nothing, at least for inside. Yeah, so to some extent you are right. APIs is basically waiting the in between. That's exactly what it does. Facilitates communication between applications. If you think about it that way, it's like front end, one talk to back end. What are the facilitates this communication? API. Let's say side on an application, Clement's an application. Side will get one particular number where Clement wants. How Clement to get a number there? How do these people communicate? Via APIs. And that is what we are going to dive deep into for today's workshop. But I just wanted to get this out there so everybody understand from like a generic perspective, front end, back end, and APIs. So is it safe to say we all understand? Cool. Then let's get into a workshop proper. Yes, please. So as I be dey say, create when you go for create a new account, what you basically they do is create a new record inside Facebook the database. So before you set up your Facebook account, Facebook not be get somebody we name Chris Tex Foundation, right? So what you they do at that point where you go, where they ask you for your name, your address, you this, you dey create new record. And the HTTP method where we they use, let's draw a new diagram. Let's draw a new diagram. Quick question. Then diagram they are helpful. Eh? This diagram, this drawer they draw, it help you to understand better or not. If it help you, tell me.
It's unbelievable now. How old are the biggest see? I want to go to school.
Sorry, guys. Sorry. I'm at school. So now you see this example wey we be don do. Now we can go into yes. I don't think. What's the question? Mm-hmm. The only one we I intentionally left out snap patch. Header. So they can do quick practical. Everybody get laptop. Everybody will get laptop. Go to any AI tool of your choice, Claude, ChatGPT, or anyone, Gemini. Internet. You can connect to CF stuff. The password now, do something with your life. Exclamated. So go to ChatGPT or Claude or Gemini, anyone. These are all AI tools. So when you open when you open the AI tool of your choice, me go use Claude. What you go tell them? Let's say you get an application. Everybody select application for yourself where you want for bill, right? And then you tell Claude something like, tell her what they build. Say, I am building a whatever app you they build. I don't want anybody for select this one. Select like what you always want for build. This big idea where you get, where you want for build. If not school management, hospital, this, that, for Belle Woman, for Kush, clean salon, anything you want for build. Now you put there. I am building fitness tracking app. And then you tell them what's like the primary thing we user they get for do on the platform, where users can log workouts, track fitness plan, share achievements. Just tell her what you want your application for do. Share workout plans. Um, blah blah blah. And then at the end, we don't tell her what you want her for do. You dey ask her now say, what external, okay, for me, I'll just use, since we get this simple school management app, I'm building a simple school management app where users can add students, mark their attendance, add teachers. What else this platform they help you for do? Grade students, create class schedules, and a dashboard to show total students, teachers, active classes, attendance, dates, and the rest. You just tell her what you want her for do for you. And then the core part of the prompt is that you dey ask her, say, okay, well, from this way you know about your application, what external APIs will I need, and what ones should I create, right? And the ones I am creating, once I am creating, clearly define the use for each, right? And then include the, so you know what? Let's remove this. What external APIs I will need, right? Pull them and the rest, and then you say for the APIs or design API map or outline. You tell and say clearly define the use for each API and then include different routes for the different operations, the HTTP methods we would use, endpoints, and everything about the API. Whew. So this is a simple prompt. Tell her what you build, what is like the things that people that get for the do on the app. Create class schedules. You need a dashboard. Show total students. Show teachers. Show active classes. Blah 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 blah. And then you tell them for design. It design like an API map or outline for you, and then it define all the API routes that we get for use, what you use them for, which HTTP methods that you get for use there for, and everything where you need for know about the API. And what I'm going to attempt for do next is after we don't get this API routing and mapping, we come over to this V0 since it don't build this first one, and try for build an API for we based on that API map where we don't get. But for now, let's just stick to getting this one. Yeah? So tell her what you want build. I'll leave this on. Make a zoom in. I'll leave this on for 2 minutes. And then I'll come and press enter and allow me on for load. Yeah? So just look at this. The only part that you go change is what you build and your own function there and your own processes. And then, but then this part below is the same. Question: how much of we actually able prompt and get results? By show of hands, you could just lift up your and your right hand and make 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The rest of you, what happen? What's the problem? Eh? You know, end? Capilot? What is stop at? What is say? Have you tried Chat GPT or Claude? Yes, ma. Mariama, what happened? You for login. GG. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. What happened when you not able get? For sign. Right. Yes, sir. Okay. Yes, ma. Yeah, see what make you not able like complete the exercise. You not get laptop or okay. Now they help you with. You don't do your own. Okay, so now to just pair up for nice. Yes, ma. You get All right. It's called. All right. Yes, sir. What's the problem? Do we need more time? So 4 o'clock. All right. That's 8 minutes. So at 4, we go through the final stretch, understand the different routes we don't create. And then we dey go to V0, this small one we don't create, get them all the API map where we AI create and tell us for actually build the API there and then integrate them into the application using mock data for the database. For you, if you don't able to do them, if you get somebody near you will not do it, you can jump in and assist your attention. Yeah, make we continue. So, what they can do now is read and understand the responses. So let's download this first as a PDF. And I'll zoom in. Boom. So I'm assuming most of we forget something will look like this. Depending on the tool we use, it might not be the same. Depending on the tool you use, it might not be the same, but it will still get then slash there, it will still get methods, endpoints, blah 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 blah. All right. So we can examine these different APIs and these different operations, the different API and the HTTP method we then get, what did they do, and whether they require authentication or not. Cool? Yeah, so usually I can just skip the first one, which is authentication. So in this app, Wait for me now is school management app. Based on the prompt for the authentication API, this is divided into like 4 different parts. The method we get for use, the endpoint for that method, description of what in a particular method they do, and whether it requires you for be authenticated or not. Ignore the word authentication. Should we proceed? So this we first API, what did they do? Now they handle user authentication, authorization, management. What did that basically mean say? Now they handle login for sign up, login, and log out. And then they determine which parts of this application you get access to. So you know, in a school portal, the access usai what the principal able to see, you the students are go able for see. The principal go able for see all students and grade, all students their financial records. But you as a student, you not go able to see other students in record and true or false. So this authentication, and they handle that one day. And they handle whether you as Mariama, a student, go able for go they make sure say you able to see only what you supposed for see. And then Mohammed or Saidu as the principal, ain't able to see what he is supposed for able for see. We understand? All right. So the method there, where we get for use, if we use post method, what's in our naming? I better explain this. You supposed for know now. Exactly. So if you see the method now post, It means say at this point, you dey create something. You dey create a record in the database. So the first one, post, endpoints. Endpoints, how I make you think about endpoints is like, you know the example where side do, where it say the domots. We all know the road for going at this domots. The endpoint is basically that road date to that domots, or even the domots in self. Now like the points of the API usai you're able to access this particular set of data. So think of like the endpoints and the domots, or the road for going at the domots. We understand? All right. So we first one in this API, we get a post method where user that they use for login. Any endpoints and login. We get another method winner for logout. We get another one winner for refresh. And then we get a get method. Get method is basically say, all right, you don't log in, but you know how you can log into app, then you see you profile up yonder. You profile picture, you name, what's everything about you. Example on Facebook or whatever application we go, you're able to see that one day. So in this authentication API, we tell and say, all right, well, when a particular user logged in, get this user all in data about this particular profile. We understand? And then if the user want for updates, this particular profile, we use the puts. So this is basically what in this application they do. Why I want we for master these methods and these endpoints is that when you run into errors, these are the things that may help you for narrow down the error. So we don't know say post and for create a new record, get and for read, put and for update an existing record, delete and for delete a record. So let's say now you create this with school management platform, a scenario. We create with school management platform. You don't log in completely. But then you don't change your name now. You know the class 1 again. Now you don't go class 6. You go, you tap edit, you select class 6, you press enter. But when you press enter, when you view your profile, it's still a show class 1. Understanding these methods, which one you think say go get problem? Get? Why you think get? Okay. All right. So for better explain the scenario, let's come to the diagram, right? Now you this. Now you platform this, you name now SB Saidu Bangura. Now be your name. You come on this platform. This is our database. We get the data. Right? But now you know to SB again. So let's get this prime. You know SC Saidu content. Now you don't write Saidu content inside the app. You don't press enter. When you press enter, which method you send to this? Not a post, because you already exist. Post now for create. Are we together? We already understand? Yes, sir. Are we together? Yeah, the talk you the turn to. So at this point, now here they ask this question you. At this point, you now be SB. Then now you now SC. Which request or which method you send to this particular database now? Eh? No, wait, allow. Yes, sir. Post method. That is actually inaccurate. So please, when I'm explaining these things, it's best for at least pay attention. And then the laptop, whenever you come, you commit operations, it will make it accessible to you. And then this video also get for support you later. So it's best when you're there in the class, when they explain something, pay attention and then try for grasp them as best as you can. And whatever you miss now, you can watch the video later or you do additional research. Yeah? So post, now you want to create a new record. Get, now you want all the record ready for display and for you, for make it show you. Put, now you get a record we already exist. You want for update a record. Delete, now you want for delete. So for now, because you able to see SB first inside this you app, it means say SB already exists. So if you want to change from SB to SC, you are not sending a post. You are not creating a new one because this already exists. Rather, you are updating this record from SB to now for show SC, which is put. Put is responsible for updating. We all understand that one day. But let's say now a scenario. You come, you now be SB, you change to SC, you press enter, you refresh, but then now SB you still see. At this point, for now without the problem, which of the method then or waiting will be the problem? Is it the puts? Okay, I don't kind of sell them myself. But which method will give the problem at this point? Get. So somebody say get. How much of we agree to the get? 2. Okay. So waiting the rest of we say since we don't agree. Okay. So I'll go over the question again. You log in, your username na SB. But you want to change your username from SB to SC. So you go, you tap inside the show edit, you edit the name from SB, you put SC. You press enter or you press save. You see the app show say it don't save. But then when you look, na SB still the show. So since we don't understand the different method, then we know say post now for create record, put now for update record, get now for read record, and then delete now for delete record. With this understanding, which of these methods you think faulty in your API will make when you refresh, even though you don't change it, you still see SB and not SC? Almost people will say, one person don't say get. Almost people that agree with get. So we have 3 people now for get. What's in the rest of we say? Somebody say put. How much of we say put? There's no sitting on the fence, so you get for votes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 13 say put. For we will not vote, I know we all. What you una say? Yes, sir. What you say? You not vote. Is it put or get? So why you not vote, sir? So 14. You with the red, you not vote. What you say? Get? Alright. So get song get 4. What you say? Get song get 5. Hey, get the come up. Yes, ma. Yes, sir. 15. Yes, ma. 16. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right, okay. What's your attention be this, sir? You dey part of this workshop or you be don't left long time? You don't vote, you don't vote. Yes, sir. Yes, you. Put. I just check normal if you they with me. Okay, you don't vote. You don't vote. Professor, what do you say? Eh? I not sabi that method we're not the same. The last speaker I say you know be there with we. So you not there with we. Yeah, so put or get. All right, nice. All right. So put we get 16 people, eh? Get we get 5. So the real answer is both are actually correct. It's either one, it's either it actually don't update. Now you get method they fail, or it's either it really not updates and you get method actually they work. You understand? So it's not that now one in particular. So it's either when you don't write SC, it actually really updates your database. But then when you they read them or when you they use you get method now for fetch them, you get method they fail. And now they retrieve the data the right way. It's either that or you press enter, but it really not update them, and then you get method actually they work fine. But most times, just so we can get winner, it's like the puts and not work. But then there are times where it actually don't update at the database, but you get method faulty. So you understand that one day now. All right. So let's say a different scenario. Let's paint a different scenario. Same SB, right? Let me think about this one first. SB. Okay, I don't get any scenario being nice. Right. Let's say you come on this platform. You know SB, you don't create your account. Eh? But now when you can wait they try for login, and they tell you say you don't get account. But just yesterday or just this morning, you use this same application. But now when you come in the afternoon, you put there your same login details and they tell you say you don't get account. So among the 4 HTTP method the way we know, which one is faulty at this stage? Eh? Could you shout that louder, please? Delete? Why delete? Because you know, so you say method also the problem there is down with the delete method. All right. Even though okay, let's say morning far, you use this application just now. You log out, you know how to delete your account, you just log out. When they try for log back in, they tell you say your account's not there or your account not exist. Which method do we think get the problem? Do you still stick with delete? Somebody say post. Do we agree with post? Somebody say get. Do we agree with get? How much of we agree with the get? We brother BN say you certain everybody knows you don't use this account for the past 5 years. The same username, the same password. You even use it today. You log out briefly, wait here for log back in, they say your account don't exist. With all the method the way you sabi, post, put, get, and delete. Which one get the problem? How much of we say get? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. What I say 8? Are you? So why you say get? It just gets normal. So the reason get is actually correct. Because for certain, we know say this you record, SB, this you record, it actually exists in the database. We know. You not ever delete them, nobody not ever delete them. You not update nothing. Nothing you not update. But then when you try for login, it just not go, it just not able to read from the database and get your own credentials at that particular point. Yeah, but we not mention that in the scenario. The scenario is that you just log in and log back in. Yes, if the scenarios we say somebody will get access, go delete them, then we for understand. Yes, but the scenario is that you log out and then you try for login, it not work. The problem is with the application in get method. It just not they get this data accurately for you. Cool? So I believe that they don't give you like a better understanding on the different HTTP methods. So because the API then cool for this, with this understanding where you don't get, you self able look at you APIs where whatever application we use give you and able understand that to a certain extent. So now because of time, it's 4:20 now. We come to V0. This way will be done being we can tell and now say using this API map / routes, right? Create or write. You can use create or write all the APIs. Sorry, just give me a minute. Create all the APIs that this application will be using. And for the database, just use JSON/mock data for now. So they tell her now, say, you know that API map where Claude or ChatGPT don't create for you. You know how I see at the start? Now you don't need to write code for yourself again. You just can meet V0. Let's say if you don't get a small prompt table, it's simple. All this way do so not get no and not get backend. This is a front-end interaction and no more. Now we can't get like a very first step in creating with backend. Where they tell and say using this API map or this API documents or any API stuff, API routes, map, documents, architecture, whatever you want for column, where we order AI don't create for you. But they tell and say use them and then create all the API there. Where this way application where they build now, this is school management application. Create all the API there where it go use. And because for now we not get like a database we set up, we they tell us you just use mock data. Mock data is basically fake data. So it can make like a fake database where really know they work. Next week workshop now we will be focused on servers and database. So since we don't do APIs now, we'll do server and database next week. Cool? So we all understand what to do now. So if you copy this result you get, you can just copy them and then can paste an aya. Or for being neat, maybe don't download them and just upload them. Upload the downloaded version. Yes, API map. And then once you upload, you allow AI for doing thing for you. So honestly, this is like the new engineering. You understand what you want for do. Make sure say AI generates the actual one for you, how you want her for do. So for example, you don't need for stick with this. Since you understand how APIs they work, you understand how front end and back end they work, you can come and look and see say for this application, AI say me could build attendance API, but we don't need that. So you can come back and tell and say, look, I see you say for create an attendance API. We don't really need them because we get attendance from this other side. But all this stems from you getting an understanding of APIs and HTTP methods and how APIs that they work. And I believe if you followed along closely with today's workshop, you must not get this fundamental or basic understanding of APIs, how they work, and how they interact with each other. So now we just sit back, allow API for build all we API routes them for we according to this map where we already create. And then I think for next week, what we will do is, since we get this, we get the APIs the way we don't create, we get the front end we don't create, actually tell and now say, all right, create an actual database for we, and then create like a couple servers where they make this database, these APIs, and all of them today. Next week is going to be interesting. So hopefully by next week, we'd actually end up with a fully functional, simple school management system with a front end, back end, and APIs. But I know say because I be saying we not do this, some of we not get this, eh? But then once you go home, you can actually just whatever app you want to build. Some of we want to build marketplace. Tell AI, build a simple marketplace for we. Go to Claude or ChatGPT. Tell and say that the idea this way we get. And these people they get for the use. Create simple API routes them, or create like an API map or API documents for we for this application. Then create app. So if you look closely, you see all these endpoints already see. When you look at the documents, it's basically let's go up to one no say good on attendance. Yep. So you see how we API tell and say we want attendance from the student table and the student ID. Where you come, this is the API folder, outside the API then they. You tell and say, look inside the student table, look for this particular student ID, and then this. Okay, I think after I download, I'll explain how within the link there I mean. Yeah, let's wait for it for load done. Nice. So if we come, we look at the code. For now, ignore everything else. This is a simple Next.js project. Ignore everything else. You see this folder? Could you just look up? We're about to wrap up today. This API folder, inside it, now it creates all your API routes where you need. So if we look from this, almost API route in C for create 9. When we come, we get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Why it is 8 is because someday we I not say duplicated. Someday we if you create this one, you're able to get from that same one, they even do like a different operation. Someday we quite similar. Yeah. So we tell and say, build the APIs then based off this. When are 9. Okay, this is for reports. I don't think you do reports. Hold on. Yeah, you know do reports. That's the last one is for reports, where basically means say from this dashboard where we get it pull all from all sides, the entire database, and able to display the record there. But the AI not do one for now. We'll dive deeper into that. So the first one will create an attendance. How this basically look like, if we look at the project structure, you see this particular line, will they see this? App, API, student, routes.ts. We always see them. What this basically means, say the app is like the general folder for your app. Inside this app, create a folder when for we APIs them. When I this API. If you look all the API that we create, all the endpoints that we create, all inside this API folder. So it's inside this API folder, and then we dey further divide them now into different tables or different data. So we get different API routes for everything we have to do with students. We get API routes for everything we have to do with teachers. We get one for everything we have to do with classes. So if you watch, you get app, API, student, routes.ts. So if we click this, let's see. Ignore the code for now. So in this, you see this get here. This basically means that this particular API route, when a API student routes.ts, it means that you see this file, this longer 94 lines of code. You know what they do? Anybody want to guess? You don't see, it get. What they do? It just they read the data for all the students there. All this long line. What's important is you see which method did they use? Get. If they use get, means say this is for go read all data of every student. We understand? Or the class don't become confusing. If it don't become confusing, we can stop here, and then next week we pick them up from this exact point. If everybody promise say they come. So this don't become confusing now. You need for relax and then pick up next week. And so majority of we say. But for we want for understand, I will still explain them, and then I'll go over the explanation next week back. So if you're not able to gather everything today, gather what you're able to gather. All right. So at the start with this. First, I will just explain what in this way they see this slash what it mean. This means say this app, now the general app folder for we project. This is school management system. Now in this. I like the general app folder. But then inside this app folder, we get a subfolder where they create what they call API. What do they create this API for? Now that inside this API folder, now they all the API that we get for create. Now they all get for can live. All the API routes that we create. Now inside they all get for can live. We understand so far. Cool. And then inside this, we don't create, since we say now they all get for live. I'll close this. We get to the very first one, the very first resident, where we call students. So students, they inside API. Students are like a subdirectory, we are like a subfolder. And then inside that subfolder, now they write all the APIs that we get for do everything with students. Now they will put we get method if we want to get all the students record. Now they will handle we post method if we want to create new students record. Now they will handle we get record. We put method if you want for update student record, and then we handle we delete method if you want for delete student record. Everything we get for do with students then, we keep it under this students folder. All right, so we don't come inside this students folder now. And then the first one, let's close this back. We get this routes.ts, right, under this students. What this routes.ts they basically do? Now encode this. But the only thing I want you for pay attention to for this code is for see in this export, this function, which particular method it they use. Now a get method. And we all know what in get method for read data from the database. And because it they under students that the root directory means say this code and for make it go to the database and then go fetch all the students record there for you. So if we put this into view, you know when you count more than students there, all this record where you see, this way they see so John Smith, Emma Johnson, Michael Brown. This code Now responsible for go get all data dey from the database, make this can display. Understood? All right. Let's move on to the next one. Student ID. I'll be there. Student, this subdirectory where you see ID. ID basically means say in this particular stage now, we are referring to a particular student, not just generic students. So you know how in preview, these are all the students in ID show, right? So if you say ID now don't narrow this to a particular student, we get a particular ID within the database. We understand? And for this particular student, we get two things that we want for handle for them: in attendance and in grade. We understand? And under attendance, we get this API route, and looking at them, what do we think it is doing? And if we for make it easy for you, just pay attention to these first few lines. What if we say they do? Correct. Because we see now the get method they use, get, it basically just you go fetch or go read this particular student with this particular ID in attendance record. So if we go to preview, I don't know if the front end implements this. We able to select it did not. It did not. I wish if there was a way we did able to click, but I think next week now we can go to that part. Because what it would do is, all right, as there's still a way how we can explain them. You see, there's no attendance there. Okay, attendance. Next class. 10A. Attendance class. 10A. Nice. So if I go back to the code, students get a particular ID, and that students will get a particular ID. We want for see in attendance. This code basically just to go fetch all the attendance and display them for you. And one side is like, you see this John Smith? John Smith here. This is attendance record where we get, where it shows a present. I don't know what's in about in the for not to me implement. Ignore that for now. For able to get this particular record for particular John Smith, this code is responsible for that, because we are dealing with a particular student, not all students in general. Make sense? So let's say somebody give me a name now this room. You name Kenneth. So let's say we want Kenneth in attendance record. Kenneth get a particular ID when 2916. That ID they inside with database. If we want to get Kenneth in attendance record, this API, they go, because it they under ID, it already they operate under Kenneth in ID when 2916. It they go now the database, look for 2916, fetch all the attendance record there, and can display them for we. You got a question? Yes, sir. If you want for updater. So the funny thing is, because I don't check everything, I don't know if AI even do for updates. Because always they see I get. But if you want for updater, you basically just write like another function like this. But instead of get, you use put. So instead of get now, you just use put, and then you go put all the fields the way accessible for somebody for updates from the front end. But then I think next week we'll actually break this down even further, because it's past 4:30 now. Mr. gets another meeting. I just not just one for left and so. So just try to understand as much as you can. But then it's basically this part. If you want for update, you just write a new function, but with the put method. Let's see if yep. Let's see if any post, this is post, get post And yes, so you can get multiple functions inside one file. So like you see in this one, when attendance, we are posting in the same file. It's totally fine. So, but let's stick to attendance. Maybe people will not get even further confused. So this basically tell we say under the students table, look for the student to get this particular ID, look for an attendance, display them for we. We understand that one day. So anybody want to take a shot at explaining grades? I will explain it. It's the same thing. Under the students table, look for the student to get this particular ID, winner Kenneth 2916. Look for in grades, display all in grades then for we. This is basically what the API that they do. So this is it for today. I would have loved for stay longer for answer more questions, but because of time, it's past 4:30. If you get any question, please feel free for ask na the Christex Discord, or whenever you can come around, meet me or Saidu, ask you any question. We go try as best as you can for explaining to you. And then this video for this workshop today would be uploaded on YouTube latest tomorrow. So you can rewatch the video, rewatch the comments, and anything you know explain, just anything you know understand, you can comment and just let me know. But the core APIs are just able to facilitate communication. Their interface will make this talk to this. And for write APIs, you don't need for write again where AI they just understand how they work and what they do. Thank you very much. See you next week.